Production support for the weekly special is provided by Bloomington Hospital, providing healthcare to viewers of the weekly special and residents across South Central Indiana. Service information, maps, and physician listings available online at bloomingtonhospital.org. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Tonight's show isn't just going to the dogs. We also have cats, horses, and even bats. On the menu board, we'll talk with the Monroe County Humane Association and meet some pets looking for new homes. We learn about PALS, a therapeutic riding program for those with disabilities, and an update on Indiana's bat population. Plus, power pop rockers ... are here to perform. It's all right now on the weekly special.
Hi and welcome. I'm Pam Thrash. Tonight's show features animals in need. And Joe's over in the booth with a good friend of the weekly special. Hey, Joe.
Hello, that's right, Pam. I'm here with Dr. Joe Liska from the City of Bloomington Animal Shelter. Welcome. It's good to have you.
Delighted to be here.
And we're going to be talking about the Foster Guardian Program. And to get us started, we have a video about it. Let's take a look. What started as volunteers helping showcase pets during off-site events became a new program that provides a temporary home for animals.
And then if a kitty got sick or we had little ones that needed some special attention or so forth, they started going home with some of those volunteers. And out of that kind of foundation, the foster program started.
The program was formalized 6 years ago, and Dr. Joe Liska is always looking for new applicants.
When they're approved, then they go on to my distribution list. And then they can respond to our needs as they feel they're appropriate for what they want to do for their home, for their life in terms of travel or work, that kind of thing. We also have some folks who do birds, rabbits, guinea pigs.
And pets that need special care.
Critters who are sick. We get heartworm positive dogs. They go into foster and then we treat. So we have a number of very specific needs.
Sarah DeLone specializes in baby kittens that come into the shelter without a mother.
Some people take in mothers and kittens and raise those babies until they're old enough to come into the shelter. My specialty is bottle feeding babies, and there's not a lot of people who do that. So over the last 6 years, I've bottle fed well over 100 kittens. Right now I have 11 that I'm taking care of.
But the biggest challenge may not be caring for the pets.
It's very hard to give them up at the end of the foster period. I know that I can't keep them all, or else I wouldn't be able to foster. I have 4 adult cats of my own, and that's my limit. And it's incredibly rewarding to watch these little tiny bundles of fur develop personalities, start to play, start to run around, and become just wonderful companions.
Foster parent Jennifer Stab agrees.
We keep reminding ourselves that if we kept everyone, we wouldn't be foster parents. And so we go into it knowing that we're going to take them back.
Her daughter, Sarah, loves animals, and during frequent trips to the animal shelter, they heard about the program.
And we picked up a flyer and found out this would be a great way to spend time with animals for a short period of time and not overcommit yourself. We don't specialize in anything in particular. But we also know that if we get a foster dog or cat that isn't working, they're really good about saying, just bring it back.
Between Sarah and her friends, Jennifer has a few helping hands to watch over the pups.
Make sure you have a space that is good for the animals and that you won't get upset if certain things get chewed upon.
Or a few messes to clean up.
So we go back and we know they've made it into good homes, and we hear the stories from the staff there, and that makes you feel really good that you served a real good purpose for that animal's life.
And so what we just saw was all about that program, and I'm of course joined here by Dr. Joe Liska and Megan Ginley. Thanks so much too for being here. We'll talk to you in just a little bit, because what we did not see though was that process of the transfer from the pet from the foster guardian to the actual owner. Can you tell us a little bit about the process of how that works?
Well, I mean, they're going through kind of a normal application process, you know, doing the typical survey that we do, whether the critters are in a foster home or not. I think the special part of it is that the potential adopters, get to know so much more about that particular individual critter, because the foster moms and the foster dads and the foster kids can certainly tell them an awful lot about them. And I think it's really, I mean, you know, we do adoptions every day, and that's wonderful, but I think it's one of your own, going from your house to a new house, that makes it really kind of special. And Megan can certainly talk about that.
Sure. And I thought what was interesting too was that some of these animals do need special care. How do you go about taking care of that?
Well, actually, I've been really fortunate in that I've got a number of fosters like Sarah DeLone who will bottle feed. I've got some who specialize in nursing moms. I've got some that specialize in those who are sick. They don't mind pilling cats 2 or 3 times a day and so forth. So I've just really been lucky in terms of attracting people to the foster program who are experienced and expert enough to do that kind of thing and want to.
And I think this number is staggering. 5,000 stray abandoned animals each year just to the Bloomington Animal Shelter. What can people do to try to keep those numbers down?
Well, you know, half of those, of course, come astray, and the other half are actually owner relinquishes, which is really sad.
Yeah.
Certainly spay and neuter. I can't say that enough times. You've just got to spay and neuter. If you're going to acquire a critter, recognize that it's a lifelong commitment and certainly should be. Plan for it financially in terms of, okay, Arthur. Plan for it financially. Plan for it in terms of if you're going to move, what kind of time you have, what's your lifestyle, that kind of thing. Never buy from a pet store. Certainly not from puppy mills, nothing over the internet. I mean, those are just feeding the population problem to some extent, actually.
Okay, now Megan, it's actually your turn, because we were able to capture the moment of the pet transfer just a couple of weeks ago. Here it is, take a look.
So this is the rest of the food she has been eating. And then in here I put her blanket, which I know is kind of gross, but I didn't wash it because I wanted it to smell familiar for her. And then this is her favorite toy, a fox. And then these are her favorite bones. And I stuck a package of those in there. And then I wrote you a little note about how much she's been eating and stuff. There you go. Come on, Lily. Okay. Will you call me this weekend and tell me how she's doing? Okay, thank you.
Are you working here tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm always around, so just call me and
Call me tonight.
just let me know how she's doing. I love you, Mama.
And Megan, as we can see, this is hard. It's very hard.
It's very difficult.
Why do you do it?
Foxy was one of those that came from the Greene County hoarding case, and I worked on that rescue as the volunteer coordinator, and she was originally scheduled to go to Wisconsin with her puppies, and it was sort of one of those things of an instant connection where I said, she's coming home with me. And from there, it was a total transformation of watching her go from a very shy, scared dog to becoming the most amazing dog I've ever been around. I can't even think about it without crying.
Yeah, and obviously it's very easy to get attached, but you're doing something that you feel is a great benefit to these animals.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you're going to keep doing it.
Yes, and the thing is, I did multiple times consider keeping Foxy, but it's like Jennifer talked about. If you do choose to keep one, you're shutting off potential other ones from coming. And I'm happy to report that Foxy is doing amazingly well in her new home. And it's just been great.
Great. And actually, we brought some animals with us in the studio today. And Pam, who do you have over there?
Oh my gosh, I am in love. We've got Sarah DeLone is with us, and they brought some amazing animals today. Tell us who we have here.
Well, we have this little brown one is Janet, and the gray one is her brother Dave. They were brought to the animal shelter when they were only a couple weeks old, so they came into my house for foster care to be bottle fed until they're big enough. And now they're not quite big enough to be adopted yet, but they are still very, very sweet, and they're at that very cute stage. They'll be ready in another month or so.
Oh, okay.
And so they'll be with me playing in my house for about another month.
And what about this guy?
That one is Lily.
Oh, girl.
And she is about 11 months old. And she's been waiting for quite a while to get a home from the shelter. She's not in a foster home right now, but she is waiting for her forever home.
Well, you know, I have, we adopted our dogs, and you know, it's the most beautiful addition to a family that you can ever have if you can do it. It's just, it takes a lot of research and going and picking out the right one for you and your family. And you have a ability to do that at the shelter.
Oh, absolutely. You can pick and choose. A lot of them are personality profiled so that you can find out exactly what they're like.
Okay.
And for more information, where can people go?
They can stop by the shelter anytime. They can call Dr. Liska. She is the head of the foster program.
And we have a website and phone number on the screen right now, too.
Right.
Great. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for being on the show today. This was really neat. And I think, I don't know, Pam, should we adopt one for the show?
I think we should have a weekly special animal.
I think so, too.
Be a great time.
And for links to area shelters and rescue groups in need of volunteers, find the weekly special on Facebook. We'll also have links to help you learn how to adopt a pet of your very own. Next up, we go underground with a story we've been following for a while. Laura Holman is a graduate student at the Indiana State University Center for North American Bat Research and Conservation. She took us to a private cave on the west side of Monroe County. Buckner Cave was once open to the public and a popular destination made evident at one time by trash and graffiti. No bats this morning. Laura hopes after the massive cleanup, this cave will be a suitable habitat for bats once again.
Once I got into rehabbing bats, I realized how essential public education and conservation were, which led me to start working with Dr. Whitaker at Indiana State University with the Center for North American Bat Research and Conservation.
We featured Dr. Whitaker on a previous story on the weekly special, who gave us an up-close and personal look at the bat.
In this room, about 150 or 200 little browns hibernate in this room. Most of them right up, oh, there's some right there.
The bats that we're going to encounter here in Indiana, they're insectivorous bats, so they eat insects. Probably the most important things, they actually eat a lot of crop pests. So they'll eat various beetles and moths whose larval stages will actually attack our crops. And obviously our crops and food are very essential to us. And if we see a decline in bat populations, we're going to see an unfortunate increase probably in pesticide usage. And the environmental effects of that are typically not good.
During winter, there are no insects, so bats hibernate, living on their fat reserves. But in February of 2006, as many as 10,000 bats were found dying in 4 caves in New York.
They did notice that there was a fungus growing on the noses of many of the affected bats. And sometimes they would just see them roosting and there would just be this very characteristic white fungus growing on their noses, which is where we get the whole name white nose syndrome. The fungus is causing the bats to wake up too frequently. Normally during the winter, hibernating bats will wake up every couple of weeks and go through this what's called an arousal period where they're awake for a number of hours. But they're finding that when they monitor these bats that have infections, that they're waking up every couple of days. And therefore they're burning way too many of their calories and thus actually starving to death.
Data suggests that approximately 500,000 bats may have died in New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Connecticut in 2008, and the fungus is spreading to New Jersey, West Virginia, and Virginia this year.
We're very concerned about getting to Indiana. We have some of the biggest hibernacula of the Indiana myotis, which is a federally endangered species of bats. And there is some strong circumstantial evidence that people may have accidentally spread white nose syndrome to other caves just because there were some rather large jumps in the disease to caves that were further away than we thought it was going to spread. But there were people frequenting the cave from white nose syndrome areas, so it's possible that they could have taken, say, spores with them. This is all assuming that the fungus is the causative agent for the deaths of these bats. We'd like everyone to know what's going on, especially these people who unfortunately they're going to the state parks right now and they're seeing the caves are closed. And may understandably be getting upset because they don't realize what's going on and that it's so important to respect the conservation efforts in terms of these species of bats.
And Pam, the good news is that white nose syndrome is still not confirmed in Indiana. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not here, it's just that it has not been detected, though the bad news is that it has spread from New York down south of us to Oklahoma.
Yeah, and state and federally owned and operated caves are still closed, so you want to keep that in mind if you plan on any caving activity this fall. And up next, a visit with a unique program in Bloomington that uses horses to help children and adults with special needs.
So far, today's show has been mostly about how we can help our animal friends. But at People and Animal Learning Services, Inc., or PALS, it's the animals that give back.
PALS is a nonprofit equine assisted activities program in Bloomington, Indiana. We provide therapeutic horseback riding services to children and adults with disabilities and at-risk youth, aged 4 and up. A lot of it depends on their individual disability and kind of what they're working on, but therapeutic riding in general is very beneficial as an activity that builds trunk muscles and increases balance. We have 11 horses right now. They've all been donated, and they go through about a 3-month training process prior to becoming a therapy horse. And we put them through all the paces of anything that they could possibly encounter during a lesson, so we know how they're going to react in every specific situation.
And that knowledge comes from special training for volunteers and instructors.
The instructors are all trained through a national organization called NARA, and they're all certified through NARA, and they have extensive experience working with people with disabilities and horses, and so they're able to match up the proper horses to the proper riders to achieve whatever specific effect that they want to achieve in the lesson.
We met one of those riders, Aiden.
Well, Aiden has a diagnosis of sensory integration disorder. And he also shows many of the characteristics of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And so basically what this allows him to do is to focus for a half an hour just on one thing that he just absolutely loves. It helps with his muscle tone, it helps with his attention span. It's just really the best half hour of his week. When he is on that horse, he is listening, he is attentive, he immediately does everything that his instructor asks him to do without flinching. And so what I say is that when he flashes me a smile from on top of his horse, he's not really just sitting on top of a saddle, he's really on top of the world.
And it's an opportunity for not only Aiden to find new confidence, but it offers his family a glimpse at his full potential as well.
It really is true. I mean, every time I see him up there, it just gives me goosebumps. It's really wonderful to watch the change in him, even just from the waiting area at PALS, where he's really excited and usually kicking up dust or making dirt angels in the dirt. And then the minute he gets on that horse, he's a different kid.
And find out more about PALS programs and how you can help out at palstherapy.org. And now we go over to Pam.
Ladies and gentlemen, ...
You're just so beautiful, this is for real. And I hold my hands out back to back, my knuckles are touching for effect. I turn my head and I say to you, I sha-la-la-la, love you this much, sha-la-la-la, love you, I love you. Sha-la-la-la, love you this much, sha-la-la-la, love you, I love you. Around the world and back. Baby, all of my friends make fun of me, and I can't say I wouldn't if it ever me. And I hold my hands out back to back, my knuckles are touching for effect. I turn my head and I'll say to you, sha-la-la-la, love you this much, sha-la-la-la, love you, I love turn my head and I will say to you, I shall not love you this much. Shall not love you. I love you. Shall not love you this much. Shall not love you. I love you. Shall not love you this much. Shall not love you. I love you. Around the world and back.
All right. Dot. Woo! That was fantastic. You guys even have a little following here.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that we're playing 2 nights at the Bluebird, so most of the people that we have brought in, I'm going to see drunk within the next couple hours.
Well,
honestly.
it is IU homecoming week, so it's a big weekend for you guys. Now, tell us about, you got a new album out and it's doing really well.
We do, and actually the song that we just played, we have a new video for, Around the World and Back, that one of the animators from The Life and Times of Tim from the HBO show did.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're excited about, but yeah, the new record is fun, cool, and obviously we're workhorses, so we're already working on the next one.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you guys are from the Chicago area originally.
Yes.
How long have you been playing together?
We've been together for 3.5. Am I right, guys?
Yes.
All right. About 3.5 years is, but everything was a very fast start for us. Like within 5 months, we were on a national television show, and it just kind of ramped up from there.
You guys have got a huge following in the whole TIU listening area and watching area, so it is very cool how big you guys have gotten.
It's yeah, but if I say yes, I sound like a jerk. So
Go for
I'm
it.
gonna.
Go
all
for
right,
it.
yeah, we're huge. Now, the funny thing is that, and as dumb as it sounds, we've become friends with everybody here.
You can
so
tell.
it's like an extended family for us for sure.
Well, give everybody the website if they want to find out more about you, and how can they get in touch with your
Which camera am I looking
album?
at? This
right
one?
there.
Hi, everybody. It's dot online is everything. Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, if anybody ever goes there anymore. And yeah, come find us.
And you guys are at the Bluebird this weekend in Bloomington?
We are there Friday and Saturday. I think we're there for 2 nights just to try and remember what happened Friday by Saturday. And then,
I gotcha. I
yeah,
got it.
should be a fun weekend.
What's on the horizon for dot?
World domination, and after that, our own cartoon is what I'd like.
Okay, very good. And you guys have got one more song, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
I'll let you take a little breather and get ready for that, and we'll go back to Joe.
Thanks, Pam. And that just about wraps it up here on the weekly special. Come back next week for our Halloween show. You can find out more about our upcoming stories as well as see video from this and past episodes at theweeklyspecial.org. From there, you can also link to our Facebook page for behind-the-scenes photos, news, and show links. And we leave you now with more from dot.
Good night.
Here's how it's got to be. A simple and true tragedy. Remember, you told me you got a lot of stories. We are the fools. I'm the one that let you down. And some boys like, some girls like you. It's I want you back. Can't get away. Some boys like, some girls like you. It's I want you. And when she's back, she's gotta go again. Tell me the last thing that I said. Remember what you told me. You got a lot of stories. We are the fools. I'm the one that let you down. And some boys like, some girls like you. I want you back. Can't get away. Some boys like, some girls like you. I want you. up, you never understand. I see the world that's before your hand. You name the time, the place, the face that you used to love. Over and over and over and over and over. I'll be there. Some boys like, some girls like you. Town wants you back. Some boys like, some girls like you. Town wants you back. Some boys like, some girls like you. Town want you.
That's good.
The special of the week.
Production support for the weekly special is provided by Bloomington Hospital, providing healthcare to viewers of the weekly special and residents across South Central Indiana. Service information, maps, and physician listings available online at bloomingtonhospital.org. And by WTIU members. Thank you.